And welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League, where the grind continues. And I am joined this time with Jaegers. It's no longer Gallium. I know, so sad. But we're coming back with a great matchup in the Prospect League in the Pacific Division between Velocity and Faded. Both these teams on the bottom half of their division, but are looking to make a comeback, and should be a good one. How are you doing today, Jaegers?
I'm doing fantastic, Ventus. And you know what? Being in the bottom half, that just means there's room for improvement. And that's what we're going to see here, Ventus. One of these teams improve.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw a transaction earlier, I believe this weekend, where Zeo was picked up for Faded. Kind of hoping that they can regroup and come back from their 1-5 start to make a play-in or playoff spot, and he's probably going to be the big player to watch for this match because obviously Velocity, Cognition, KSU Wildcats, and Jax all have played together before. Their roster not really changing. They did drop Grebsy, so they only have three players on their roster currently. But those three gonna already the main force for Velocity. But Faded having a switch up in the roster. How do you think that this is gonna change the outlook of the game?
Well, Ventus, it's funny you say that because Zio debut, it's more of a welcome back. He is Mr. Glaze. I believe his last match was, I want to say, season 7 grand finals playing for Origin, and the team they lost to, Velocity. So it's gonna be a little payback for Mr. Glaze, aka Zio, very mechanical player, and I'm very excited to see if any of the rest is still there or if he's going to pop off. And two very good teams that are way better than their records. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully we can get these people joined up soon. I don't. Is there anything happening that they're not joined up yet? I don't know,
Oh, I
but we'll
think we could just
see.
go if you want to.
Are we? All right, let's see. Join up. I'm just gonna text that. See what happens. A little scuffed on my end, but
Just let them
um,
know.
it
Let
looks
them
like
know.
Chunk Light is actually playing in place of Jax for the side of Velocity, so should be interesting here. But we are kicking off game number one. Looks like Velocity on the orange. Well, I guess it's different colors for you, but gonna be a good 50 from Chunk Light. Street Soul gonna take this, pop it off his own corner. KSU Wildcat's gonna be there, puts a shot on net, and that one's gonna be a quick early goal for the side of Velocity.
Yeah, nice little shot by KSU Wildcats. He was out the first 4 games, and he's picking up where he left off. Nice little shot on goal, and Faded not quite ready for it.
Yeah, and you talked about him missing 4 games so far this season. Definitely could mean that Velocity is a bit better than their current record shows. They are sitting in the 3-3, but for those games, KSU Wildcat not being there definitely could hurt the side of Velocity. We know him as a great player and already showing out so far in this game number one. Looks like Forrest gonna try to get us past center. Zeo gonna take this one, gonna look for a pass, but cut off by Cognition. Looks like Chunklight looking for a redirect,
Oh,
gets 50 by Street Soul, a great save on the back end. Looks like KSU Wildcat gets a beat, but demoed for his efforts. Forrest gonna keep it in the corner. Cognition already there. Cognition trying to
nice
get a pass
pass.
out mid. A shot comes out by Chunklight, and a little miscommunication between Faded members is gonna leave the net wide open for Chunklight to score.
Yeah, nice little pass by Cog past the defense, and Streetsoul not quite able to find the touch he wanted nor thought he deserved, and now Velocity is going to be up by 2.
Yeah, and Velocity definitely showing out early as, we haven't seen too much of this Cognition Wildcats duo this season with him being out, but I am sure that they will be able to pick up the pace and we'll see a lot more passes. Zia looking for a shot, going to be off crossbar. Very close shot. A miss comes out. Forrest trying to put the shot on net, not going to be able to do so. A bump comes out for the side of Faded, but going to be cleared away. Chunklight up for another redirect, but Zio going to be up quick for that one. Trying to pass it out mid. Street Soul's there, but 50'd away by Wildcat. Forrest looking to play it to the backboard. Maybe a double touch. Gonna force a miss from Cognition playing the 50 there, and looks like we're gonna be about 2 minutes into this game. Another shot. Maybe a shot from Chunklight. A 50 comes out again by Forrest. Another close play and another counterattack option maybe for the side of Faded, but looks like so far Faded put a nice shot on net there, but mostly just playing defense so far in this game number one.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard to get your offense started whenever you're being pressured in your own back half. And, Faded, every time they start to get out of their half, Velocity just bangs it back toward putting it Faded back on defense. So, not a lot of life in terms of Faded side. Nice attempt there by Street Soul, not able to find the touch. And now back on Faded's half again.
Yeah, and I think Velocity have just been playing such great offense because they've been able to leave Chunklight up in the midfield almost and look for these redirects and these bump plays that has allowed Velocity to have extended pressure in the Faded half and really has made it difficult for them to generate any offense because there's always that threat of a counterattack. And we saw right there Chunklight getting a bump on net, but not anything coming out of that one. Chunklight gonna take a 50 here, gets a pop, a 50 on Forest. Zeo looking to pick this one up, tries to play to the back wall, a miss out.
Ooh.
Great 50 by Cognition, almost a goal. Like Forest gets a beat on Wildcat, looking for another touch, not gonna be able to do so. Chunklight gonna get this one into the corner, gets another 50 on Zeo. Wildcat's there, Wildcat 1v1 opportunity, beats Street Soul, but unfortunately another member from Faded is already back. Good bump by Force Bump there, gets a beat on Cognition as well. Chunklight holding that midfield down, gets a nice touch into the corner. He's going to play this one again, looking for a third beat, gets a pop to the backboard. KSU Wildcats up with Forrest, but Forrest going to get the beat onto that one. Cognition pops it, trying to leave it for Chunklight. Chunklight electing not to go for that one. And these C-words are really tripping me up so far in game number one, but not too bad as a nice shot comes out by Forrest. A redirect by Chunklight, forcing Zeo to back off, respecting the touch. Wildcat going to try to get a touch. Street Soul gets that one onto the sidewall. Zeo going to have to race back for this one. A team bump comes out, leaving a potential play for Wildcat, but not going to be anything so far. And it's been much more even ever since, we started talking about how much pressure Velocity has had. They still have had pressure, but it hasn't really equated to any shots or goals. And so at least Faded, showing some resilience here at the end of game number one.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks a little bit more even, but it almost feels like Faded was more able to stop the bleeding as opposed to like starting counterattacks of their own. So they're at this point they're kind of just surviving, for lack of a better word. KSU Wildcats almost gets a goal there, but not quite able to put it on target.
Yeah, definitely just seem to be stopping the bleeding. I mean, Faded only have 3 shots, 2 velocities. I believe that is 9, so definitely a big discrepancy there in overall pressure and Velocity able to generate a lot of shots. It seems like this game number one is going to wind down. Faded might get a one-mate goal for the road in the last couple seconds. A shot off the backboard, not going to do so, and it looks like the ball is going to hit the ground to give Velocity a very convincing game number one victory.
Yeah, no, KSU called the dynamic duo and Chunklight putting in work as well. Faded, they need to find a way to get out of their half. Only 3 shots to their name. They just don't seem like they're clicking.
Yeah, it seems like they're very much 3 individual players instead of one cohesive unit. And it's kind of shown because they haven't been able to string any passes together. And it's very likely due to that Zeo being a new member. And I'm not sure if Street Soul's the sub, but Poseidon isn't here today either. I'm not sure if that's their main roster, but some more dissonance in their communication and their normal starting lineup can be that reason that they just haven't figured it out yet. So I'm hoping that they're going to be able to bounce back as we kick off game number 2. Zeo going to look for an air dribble, looks for a pass middle. Street Soul going for a bump. Forrest going to get this one, but Wildcat gets a beat. Street Soul already out, bringing in the pressure early. Cognition trying to tap to the wall, but Street Soul's already there. A shot coming out from Zeo. Not going to be on target, but he's still staying in the play. Gets a 50 on Cognition. Forrest, a pass
Nice
out made to
pass.
Street Soul. Street Soul just not able to get the shot, but he gets the bump instead. And Chunklight not going to be able to get there in time. And Street Soul, a great pass and a great shot by Forrest to give Faded the lead.
And Street Soul just absolutely bullying Chunk Light, not able to make it back in time. And all Force Bump really needed to do was just not miss. And, he did well in that. Faded take their first goal of the series, followed closely by their second as they're starting to pop off here.
Yeah, and it's a great kickoff. It looks like Chunk Light maybe pushing a little bit too hard as that cheating second man there, and unable to read the 50 as that 50-50 in the middle is so inconsistent. It can go so many different ways, and even sometimes maybe a bit laggy on the 50. So a little bit too preemptive of his commit to the midfield touch. But another bump comes out from the side of Street Soul, and Street Soul has been racking up the bumps so far in this game number 2, and kind of been a great
Oh
force. As it
no. Oh,
almost
what a save.
off its own post, and it looks like Zeo gonna have a
Oh,
counter
Theo?
attack, looking for a ground pinch. Not gonna be able to get that. His Cognition's gonna cut that one off. Forrest gets a 50 on KSU Wildcat, gonna go into the corner. Chunk gonna be first to this one, gonna try to get another 50. Zeo holding it down, keeping the possession, gets a 50 on Cognition, but it's back in the blue half. This is very reminiscent of the
Oh
beginning of
no.
number 1, where
All
Velocity
of them
showed
were
that
there.
they are going to do so. Yeah, a very interesting triple commit there.
Yeah, no, it was a triple commit and only one touched the ball. Nice little shot by KSU Wildcats, but that kind of reminds me of the Pineapples defense. I believe back in the gap. I know there's a picture in grand finals of 3 players on the back wall. None of them were able to save the shot though.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for the side of Faded. Velocity do get 1 goal back, but it looks like Street Soul trying to regain that 2-goal lead, but gonna be saved away. Zeo looking to solo play this one. He's gonna take it up for a double tap. Not gonna do so. Leaves it for Forrest. Forrest puts a shot on net. Gonna be saved away by Wildcat. Street Demon keeping it in the corner, looking for another touch past 1. Cognition, unfortunate touch. A team bump comes out. Forrest not able to get the shot though, and Velocity's gonna hang on.
Yeah, no, Velocity almost getting away with one there, and Street Soul, pops it up for his teammate, but his teammate not able to find it. I do see Zeo is lagging just a little bit. His ping looks like it resolved itself, but regardless, KSU Wildcats gonna put a nice shot on target, tying up this game.
And it's a great shot, a great pass by Cognition, and Wildcat's just gonna sneak it in between Zeo and I believe that was Forrest, but but anyways, a great shot by Velocity to tie up the game, and even with how Faded have started out in game number 2, it looks like Velocity gonna claw their way back in and make it a much closer game. It's like Zeo gonna try to take this one back, gets a pop past 1, but Wildcat already there. Team bump comes out. Street Soul gonna take this one up the wall, gets a beat on 1, looking for an air dribble, looking for a read off the corner. It's gonna bounce towards the middle. Chunk gonna put that one away. Forrest looking to fake it, leave it for Zeo. Zeo trying to get another touch. Cognition in case you double commit. Forrest tries to get a 50, but it's actually gonna get 50 by Cognition. Cognition puts another one off the back wall. Chunk Light gonna have to catch this one. Slow the play down. Not gonna be able to get that touch. Zeo spinning it up, puts a great touch to the back wall. Street Soul looking for a pass out. Zeo's gonna be here. Zeo, great beat on Cognition, but not able to get the ball on target. Chunk Light with an unfortunate miss there, but Wildcat able to cover for that mistake, and he's actually going to be able to hold this possession. Gets a 50 on Street Soul, and now it's a threatening touch into the faded half, but a great clear away by Forrest to Street Soul, and Forrest actually going to put a shot on net. A great save by Wildcat, and that's an amazing save by Velocity to keep them ahead, and Chunk Light going to clear this one away. Chunk Light going to look for get another touch, gets a beat on Forrest. 0 boost though, has to give the possession away to Zeo. Zeo gets a misflip though on his wall dash. Cognition gets a 50 across. Looks like Zeo's going to be first to this ball. Zeo with an unfortunate miss, but luckily Forrest is already there. Or it goes right to Zeo on the 50. Street Soul with a shot on net, and it's going to be around Cognition to give Faded the lead 3-2.
And yeah, no, a nice pass by Zeo, a nice shot by Street. Perfect placement right behind Cog. Cog inched up too much and is going to pay as a result.
Yeah, and it's a great sequence of events for Faded, being able to regain the lead after giving 2 goals up to allow the game to be tied. It looks like Zeo gonna take this one back. Gets a bump, leaves the ball for Forrest. Forrest gonna be up again, gets a beat, but it's gonna go to KSU Wildcat. He's gonna bang it down into the blue corner. Looks like Street Soul gonna get a toucher on KSU Wildcat. The 50 comes out towards the corner again. Chunklight looking for another touch or a demo. KSU Wildcat gets a beat on one, looking for a shot, gets a 50 on Zeo, but unfortunately a great demo on the side of Street Soul. It relieves a lot of that pressure and makes it so there's no player in that midfield, and Street Soul has been a real nuisance to this Velocity squad in game 2.
No, he really has. I mean, Velocity really cannot breathe easy as long as Street Soul's on the pitch. And with 20 seconds left, I mean, this is looking like a completely different Faded team than we saw in that first game. I mean, maybe it's stream nerves, maybe it's just overall general composure, but Faded really came out swinging.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like they're starting to be able to learn how each other play and are acting more as a unit, as we see Street Soul having 2 assists and Zeo having an assist of his own. So all 3 of their goals are assisted with one other player of the Faded squad. And a great showing from Faded and a good bounce back win.
Yeah, no, I mean, just very good passing plays, and you know your team is synergizing whenever each of your goals is assisted. So there's definitely that for Faded. And I know some teams, like after they lose a close game, they want to take a second to ready up, but both these teams readied up right away, which is always interesting. Because I mean,
Yeah,
that tells me like Velocity feels like they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They just need to play their A game.
yeah, definitely. And KSU Wildcat that game had an outstanding game, 2 goals and I believe 3 saves or more. I couldn't remember exactly how many saves, but I mean he had 550 points that game. And both of those goals were also assisted by another member of Velocity, and so they were also showing out those passing plays and able to generate those scoring opportunities. But looks like Faded holds on for game number 2 as we start to get into game number 3. Looks like Street Soul gonna try to clear this one out. Cognition's gonna take this one back. Maybe a bump coming up by Street Soul, likes to fake it. Cognition low on the back wall, very awkward. Zeo gonna pick this ball up in the midfield. Cognition misses the boom touch out. Forrest gets a shot on net, and the forced bump by Zeo is gonna force the member of Velocity back into the net and unable to make the save.
And Cog had the right idea, not the right execution, and force bump is going to make him pay, putting the shot perfect placement, top right and in.
Yeah, and I was expecting to see Street Soul being the one going for the demo on the last member in net, but that one was Zeo there as he was able to dish that one out to Forrest, and a great opening goal for Faded. Another one of those goals where they're just beating out the members of Velocity and really opening up those scoring opportunities. It's like Cognition gonna try to take this ball, gets a good pinch out, but it's gonna go right to Zeo in the corner. Zeo gonna get it past one, looking to get another touch, gets a 50 on Chunk. Going to be right towards Forrest. Forrest puts a ball to the back wall. Great touch away by Wildcat. Double commit comes out on the side of Faded, but it's going to go right to the midfield for Zeo, and a bump comes out on the side of Faded. And I believe that was Street Soul gets the bump on the last defender of Velocity, and it's going to lead to another goal.
And one thing I've noticed from Faded is Zeo is playing an extremely deep third man. And Faded, both Force and Street Soul are just kind of running, just being super aggressive, which is catching the Velocity defense off guard and just allowing Zeo to just put perfect shots on target.
Yeah, definitely. And they seem to have found their play style. We didn't see many demos or many bump attempts in game number 1, but we did see it more in game number 2, and we're seeing it here plentifully in game number 3. And it's great to see that Faded starting to find their way. And it looks like Velocity's going to have to step up their game as a redirect
nice
comes
shot.
out by Street Soul. A great save by Wildcat. And Wildcat, with 4 saves already this game, has been that solid rock on defense, Jaegers.
Yeah, no, I mean, KSU Wildcats really putting in work. And I mean, you know, part of it is he shouldn't have to put in work, but Faded is popping off on offense. They have 8 shots to their name, and we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very insane shot differential right now, but a great save by Forrest. Maybe a counterattack angle with a great pass to Street Soul. Street Soul puts it on target, but it's going to be cleared away by Wildcat. And Wildcat trying to generate his own uh, counterattack play, but gonna be a great save by Zeo. Chunklight looking to catch this ball. Not a great touch in the midfield. It's gonna be a double commit. It looks like from Faded. Gonna be great clear by Wildcat. Looks like Forrest trying to keep it in the corner. Gonna pass out to Zeo, who gives it back to Forrest. Forrest gonna clear that one away. But unfortunately, Chunklight already back. Gonna take the 50 there. Gets a good fake. He's gonna take this ball up. Looking to get another touch. Gonna be a 50 on Zeo.
Oh,
He actually plays
oh, what?
around Zeo,
Wait,
and the
wait.
members of Faded just kind of turned away. And
I,
Velocity gets a goal back.
you know how that's so odd. It just looked like Faded was just not interesting in defending that goal. And you know what? Chunk Light said, "All right, I'll take it."
Yeah, and it looks like Zeo was trying to pre-jump the high touch, and Forrest had so much faith, and Street Soul both had so much faith in Zeo as that challenger, that they elected to just play away and fully expected him to get a 50 or a touch on that ball. So we saw Street Soul go into the corner for boost, and Forrest Bump was going to cheat up, but that beat just left the net wide open due to that over um, you know, exertion of their rotations on the side of Faded, just expecting their player to full-heartedly get the beat and not even playing the possibility that he could get beat. Definitely is going to be a crazy reason they're going to give up a goal. Looks like a great clear away from KC Wildcats. A shot on target from Forrest. And the Wildcats going to take this one again. Gonna avoid one, gets the boost in the midfield. Street Soul gonna cut that one off, but it goes right to Chunklight. Chunklight gets a flick over one. Double commit comes out on the side of Faded, but gonna be cleared away into the Velocity half. It looks like we have a minute remaining in game number 3, and it's very neck and neck currently.
Oh,
It's
good
a nice shot by
shot.
Wildcat, gonna doomsy dish that one in and tie the scoring 2-2.
Yeah, Ventus almost said good pass, but no one else was there for a Velocity. KSU's just going to take it in himself.
Yeah, it looked like Chunklight had pushed up so far going for a bump that he was no longer a pass option for that Velocity squad and Wildcat. So Wildcat obviously having to elect to take it for himself. And another shot by Cognition, almost going to be a goal there, but going to be saved away by Forrest. And Forrest, zero boost, just pops it up to the midfield. Street Soul going to be first to this one. Puts a great
Oh,
shot
nice
on net.
shot.
And KSU Wildcat not able to get the touch. And he's been so good on defense this game and so, this series, so very interesting to see him miss this one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just KSU just inched forward just a little bit too much. And once again, with the perfect placement, back post, Velocity just not expecting it.
Yeah, and it's going to give them another lead in game number 3. The clock now dwindling down to 30 seconds. Going to be hard for Velocity to take this one back, but Street Soul not a great touch, but Forrest able to fake that one. Going to be a shot for Cognition. Cognition shoots it right at Zeo, and Zeo going to be able to clear that one away, and that's one that you would love to have back, Jaegers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just you and the defender. It's like sometimes you overthink it just a little too much, and it looks like that's what happened there. Like they couldn't decide whether to go left or right, and just selected for dead center.
Yeah, and that might be the reason that Faded are going to take this game number 3. I mean, the ball's not down yet. Street Soul gonna fake this one, and Faded will take game number 3 and go up 2-1 in the series. And that is a devastating mistake there on the side of Velocity. And maybe we can say great play by Zeo, just forcing the touch early and covering as much of net as possible and able to get that save and clear away. But yeah, a great showing once again from Faded, and another really close game coming out in so far in this series.
Yeah, I mean it was a close game, Ventus, but looking at the stats, I mean, Faded outshot Velocity 11-8, and I mean shots wise, it is a pretty close game. But I mean, Faded's attacks were just so much more dangerous than Velocity's in this last one.
Yeah, definitely agree. The one thing I do want to point out though is we were talking about 2 minutes into this game, or that game number 3. Faded actually had 8 shots up to that point. So they're only able to generate 3 more additional shots in the following 3 minutes, whereas Velocity was able to come back and shoot, I believe it was 5 more times. So a little bit more even in that second half of game number 3. Pressure and shot wise coming out on the side of Velocity, but gonna be an interesting pinch there. Cognition gonna have to rush back and be popped up high. Zeo gonna touch this one in the corner, looking for a double touch. Gonna put it back into the corner though. Forrest looking for a 50 out middle. Wildcat gonna play that one away, but it's right to Zeo. Zeo gets a pop, but Chunklight's gonna be there. This one might drop down by Wildcat. Gonna be a great pass, but not able to have a shot come out on the side of Velocity. A pinch comes out. It's actually going to be very awkward for Cognition. Cognition gets a great clear away. Zeo going to be first to this ball. Tries to keep possession, but Wildcat going to be there. Streetzel up with Chunklight. Gets a 50 on Chunklight. Might have liked to keep going for this. Forrest going to get a 50 on Cognition. Cognition a great clear out, but once again, right to the faded player, and and Zeo gonna take this one. Pop it to Streetsoul. Streetsoul gonna be first to this ball. A pop towards the midfield. A shot coming out. Is that gonna be crossbar? Yes, it is. But Forrest gonna have a follow-up shot. Cognition, a great save to relieve the pressure. And it's very reminiscent of the beginning of game number 3, Jaegers, with, a lot of faded pressure.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it's looking like so far. I mean, the first minute, there was no shots, and all of a sudden, Faded had 4 back to back to back to back, and so far Velocity has held up. Let's see if they continue to do so.
Yeah, they definitely have held up, but they have not generated a single shot yet, just electing to play in their half, just holding off the faded pressure. Is a shot off the crossbar there by Forrest, and Zeo gonna look to pass this one midfield. Not gonna get a great touch. Streetsoul out on that one, but not able to find that touch. Forrest gonna have to put this one to the corner. Zeo gonna elect to leave it, and Cognition not able to get a touch either. Chunklight puts a shot on. A little jumbled up there in the corner, but Forrest putting this one out.
Oh.
And a great 50, almost in, just off the post and out. That ball crazily went out, and Forrest gonna get a shot. Maybe Zeo's gonna be able to get back to this one, and that one is going to go in, finally breaking the stalemate, and Faded go up 1-0.
And I mean, Velocity held strong for the most part. They did extremely well with 5 saves, but Ventus, the problem is they have 5 saves this early on in the game, and Faded back to 8. And I mean, their offense just looks unrelenting.
That definitely does look that way, with already 8 shots in the first half of this game. Very reminiscent of game number 3, where they had 8 shots in the first 2 minutes. And a great pop by Streetzel, looking for a 50 on Cognition. Cognition has to rush back. A pop midfield from Forrest, not going to be picked up. It looks like Zeo trying to get a touch, but not going to be able to do so. Forrest, a great demo in the midfield, but going to be faked out by Chunklight. Streetzel having to get to that one. Streetzel getting the boost, looking for demos. Looks like a 1v2. A bump comes out. Gonna be great save by Wildcat. Zeo there though, and gonna be able to put that one home for a 2-0 lead.
And yeah, no, there Zeo is again with the third man play, just playing cleanup crew, really loving that top right corner shot, and Faded gonna double their lead.
Yeah, and that is a great shot. Perfect top right from Zeo with a bunch of power. It looks like Forrest gonna maybe get a slow roller into the net of Velocity. Looks like maybe a misrotation or a mistouch there by Chunklight. Wildcat looks like he's trying to fake it and get a 50. But Forrest not going to be one to fall for that, and gonna be able to put that one home for Faded 3-0 lead. And that is going to be very hard to come back from if you're Velocity.
Especially in game number 4, where next game you lose and you're done for the day. It's hard to come back. You really want to get the first goal in games that potentially end the series, and Faded just happened to get the first 3.
Yeah, and I mean, Faded have looked really good. I mean, if you take off that game number 1, almost a shot coming out from Streetsoul, but gonna be saved away by Cognition. But if you take away that game number 1, Faded has been so dominant And Velocity has just kind of held on. A miss here though might allow the gates to open up a little bit for Velocity, but a great clear by Forest takes that one away. And it looks like Faded being very confident with some pre-jump double commits on their side. And they seem with the clock winding down to 1 minute, they think that they have this game in the bag. But hopefully, Velocity have something to say about that one. Is Cognition trying to get this one in the midfield? Gonna catch it. Looking to get a flick past one, but Zeo's already there. Chunklight tries to get a pop mid. Tries to go for another one, but Streetzel already pre-jumped on that one, just playing the high touch, forcing them to get a 50. KSU Wildcat getting a pop out to the midfield. Cognition's there, but a great touch by Forrest and a great 50. Streetzel gonna get demoed there. Might allow some more pressure to be built on the side of Faded. Wildcat gets a good 50, but unfortunately nobody's there on the side of Velocity, and that one's gonna be cleared away. Chunklight trying to get a pass back in the midfield. Wildcat to Chunklight again. Cognition able to pick this one up in the midfield, looking for a pass out mid. Wildcat's there, tries to put this one on target, but as the clock winds down, it looks like Faded is going to take this game and take the series 3-1. And after that first game, a very dominant showing from Faded.
Yeah, no, I mean, Faded just simply outplayed Velocity. You're not going to win a game, let alone a series, being outshot 13-2. Like that was the stats of the last game. Excuse me, 14-2. Faded popped off on offense. They didn't give Velocity any room to breathe, and I felt like they ran away with this one.
Yeah, definitely. And their offense was so suffocating. We saw so many demos and bumps coming out from Street Soul and Forest and Zeo being that solid midfield defender where he's been able to pick up all the loose balls in the midfield that were just cleared away because Velocity were feeling the pressure and just needed to get the ball out of the half. And it really just allowed Faded to thrive and it just made it so much harder to come back from if you're Velocity. And so a great showing there on the side of Faded. But that's gonna wrap us up for game number 2 of the 3 stream games today. um what do you have to say, Jaegers?
Not much. I mean, that was a good series for Faded. I'm excited to see how they do the rest of the season. And as for Velocity, I mean, they're not doing bad. They could do better. Um, but they need to pick up on offense. They need to stop being suffocated by opposing teams, and they just need to find their identity on offense, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And they got a few kinks to work out, but Wildcats and Cognition both on defense able to generate, it seems like, crazy saves. I mean, 4 or 5 saves per game, forcing Faded to just continuously pummel the net. So, I mean, props to Velocity there, and they definitely have the ingredients to be able to bounce back and still threaten a play in playoff position. But that's gonna do it for this game. We do have one more game at 9:30, and that's going to be Snowstorm versus, help me out here.
Snowden
uh who are they
Snowstorm
playing?
versus let's see, Griffins. Should be a
Griffins.
banger. Should be a banger of
Yeah,
a matchup. Could see that one
that
going the distance.
that one is going to be very good. I mean, Snowstorm sitting at 5-1. Griffins currently sitting at 3-3. Another divisional matchup, and that one's going to be very important for the challenger division there, as Griffins and Snowstorm sitting at the top number 1 and 2 seeds in their division. So that's going to be it from Jaegers and I for this game. But stay tuned for the game at 9:30 for Snowstorm versus Griffins.
See y'all on the flip.